So hello, my name's Mark. I'm a Kiwi living in Cancun and I'm currently training for a 50-kilometer ultra marathon race that I have created myself. So that's pretty exciting. It's been a hell of a week, folks. I have been injured again and I'm going to tell you in this video all about it. So stay tuned and don't forget, hit that little subscribe button to follow my journey, help me out, and leave your comments. If you're a runner or somebody that aspires to be a runner, why not join this little community that I'm building here on YouTube, and we can help each other out with all sorts of information and advice if that's the sort of thing that you're into. Okay, let's get into the video. I'm going to share a little story with you. So here we go. Yeah, so what happened was about 30 years ago, I was competing in a triathlon in Australia, and it was during the bike section of the triathlon, and I was going down a hill and I was doing about 70 kilometers an hour at the time, and my front wheel went into a pothole in the middle of the road, and the last thing I remember was flying over my handlebars and landing on my back on the middle of the road. And next thing I know, I woke up and I was in hospital. And I asked the doctor what had gone on, and he said, "You're very lucky you didn't break your spine when you fell off the bike." Anyway, I stayed in hospital for a while, and I found out that I'd ruptured a disc in my back, and a lot of the sponge gel that we have around our disc in the back had exploded and released a lot of fluid into my back. So had an enormous amount of pain. I wasn't able to walk for a while, and I finally got the ability to walk again, and then I started running, and the rehab process was quite lengthy as I remember it. And then for many years after that, I had all sorts of problems with my back. I'd be flying one day with my job, and I'd go to put a suitcase in the overhead locker, and my back would collapse, and I'd freeze up and I'd be unable to walk. And this happened 5 or 6 times over the years, and it was very, very frustrating. I went to see a number of surgeons around the world to see whether they could do something to help me out, but no one wanted to operate on me because the issue was too close to my spine and there was too much of a chance that I might end up paralyzed. So I walked away from having any back surgery, and I just thought it was going to be my time to give up sport, to be able to not do a lot of things that I really, really loved doing. But fortunately, I came across a set of exercises on YouTube for people with sore backs, and I started doing those exercises, and it was within a couple of weeks that I really found that I got a lot of relief from doing those exercises, and it really helped me strengthen my core up. And before too long, I stopped having back issues, and I was able to get out there and do everything that I love again. So that was the history around my back issue. And then last Friday, I was out doing a weekly long run here in Cancun as part of my training for my 50-kilometer ultra run. And I was about 4.5 kilometers into the run, and I felt my back kind of twinge again. And then all of a sudden it just collapsed, and it was the same injury that I had all those years ago. So I ended up shuffling home back to my house in a lot of pain. And for the last week, I've been dealing with that with a lot of painkillers, and my beautiful wife's been helping me out and supporting me with all the things that I need to get myself back on track. But the good news is I went for a run again this morning, so a week later almost, and no pain. I was feeling really good, and I did about 8 kilometers this morning, so that was a really, really good run. So yeah, the last week hasn't been such a good experience. Brought back some horrible memories. I had a lot of pain at that time when my back was sore, and I had exactly that same pain again this particular week. I don't know why it happened. I did all my warm-up exercises as I always do before I go for a run. When it happened on that run last week, I've been doing nothing else different than what I normally do. I haven't been lifting anything. And as I said, I was about 4.5 kilometers into my run, and it just absolutely collapsed. So touch wood. Seems to be okay today. As I said, I went out and completed my run this morning, so I feel like I'm back on track and I can get stuck back into my training again. So that's what's been happening the last week. Hasn't been any exercise whatsoever. It's all been about trying to relieve the pain of a very sore back. And if you're out there watching my video today and you've got a bad back, I sympathize with you. I know how terrible it is to have back pain. But I'm back to doing my exercising and stretching and making sure that my core is solid, because I really believe in those exercises. And I think if you are a runner and you're doing strength and core exercises and mobility exercises, you are going to reduce your injuries. And over the last 25 years or so, I've had no back issues, and I've been doing lots of sports. And I think it's a result of making sure that I keep those exercises going. So anyway, the good news is I'm back on track. I'm training again. I knocked out a solid 8K this morning. I felt really, really good. And I think part of that was it was about 1 or 2 degrees cooler this morning here in Cancun. So that always helps when the temperature goes down a bit. So yeah, I look forward now and getting into week 5 of my training, heading towards my 50K ultramarathon run, which I'm doing in November. So yeah, it's a pretty short report this week because all I've been doing is laying down and trying to recover from a severe back injury, and yeah, not something that I wish upon anybody at all. So yeah, I'll get stuck back into it, and hopefully next week I've got lots more news to share, lots more positive news about how my training's going and getting back into it. And I'm really, really hungry. Whenever you have a week off from training, or in my case it was 6 days, but whenever you have a week off, you get really hungry to get back into it again, and I'm just really frothing at the bit now to get back into it. And I had a huge smile on my face this morning when I was out there doing my run, particularly after the first K or so, and I just felt like, whoa, great, I don't have any problems, it's good, I can go forward and I can do this. And I was smiling at everybody and buenos dias and hola, and yeah, it was a really good feeling. So pleased to be back and getting back into it.